Hey, good morning. I'm Ed Smith. I'm your guest host for Lights, Camera, and Clicks. And with me today is the host of the show, Matt Smith. Hey, Matt, how are you doing today?
I'm okay.
You're doing all right?
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, I understand we might be buying some new software to do these
We've
live,
used OBS in the past, and it's just not working very
OBS
well with
is,
Facebook.
That probably stands for something, but
Probably I don't know what it is.
So what do you do here, Matt?
I do a little bit of everything here at Edit House Productions. Yeah. In the last couple of weeks, I've been doing a lot of stuff with Trade Desk,
right?
Our demand side platform for what we're doing for programmatic display and OTT advertising and things like that.
So you're the production manager, you're the chief operating officer, and you're an owner.
Well. So I guess generally I try and make sure that everything goes smoothly and that things don't burn down to the ground, the building doesn't catch on fire, things like that.
We hope that doesn't happen.
No, it would never.
So I'm interested, Matt. I don't know if I've ever asked you this, but what's your earliest memory of working in this field or being around, being around television? Because that's where we started. We started with television production years ago. But what's your earliest memory? Because I remember you in the playpen in the edit suite. So
I remember one of our clients. They're a window company. And I remember going on shoots and setting up lights and tripods and camera and stuff like that. That was back in the day of the beta cam early on.
Yeah.
Before we went HD.
Yeah. We were definitely linear at that time. Your first shoot was with New Mexico Bank and Trust. So, and you were 9, and I took you on that shoot. And you already understood 3-point lighting. So for the folks at home, 3-point lighting is a key light, fill light, and a backlight. But they're at certain proportions to each other as far as intensity is concerned. And you already knew the setup of that at 9 years old. So
yeah, I picked it up, and I always had an interest in continuing to learn the different aspects of production and really try and master everything. So. From setting up lighting to understanding sound and microphones and how they work, and then the actual camera and not just how cameras work, but having a good steady hand in doing pans and tilts and zooms and things like that.
And I mean, you had some instruction from me, but you're pretty well self-taught in all these different areas.
Yeah, there's always been this standard of work, really, that us here at Edit House Productions have always tried to maintain this level of excellence. And so for me to be able to work up to that and achieve that through what you've taught me has been interesting. It's been fun. There's always a challenge, but I think once you kind of get it, you understand how things should look, as far as camera angles and lighting and things like that.
Yeah, I think that once you master whatever it is, if it's going to be the television camera, if it's going to be software, once you sort of master the interface, then you're able to. It kind of becomes an extension of yourself.
Yeah, and that's true a lot in how the cameras operate. We started with the Betacam and actually recording on Betacam tape to going to HD and recording on a disc. Then we upgraded cameras and recorded on little HDV tapes. So it was all very linear, and ingesting those tapes and things, it was live. So you basically played back the tape in a deck and then recorded it into the computer. And a lot's changed since then. I mean, it hasn't really been that long. It's been 15 years since we really kind of changed and have digital files that we just copy off of a card. Now with our latest cameras, it's this little card, about an inch an inch big that records 45-minute timed intervals of 4K footage.
And that presents its own challenges, though, because that media is volatile, and so you have an entire process of trying to keep all that material backed up.
Yeah, and now you don't have a physical copy of a tape that you can just keep in storage or something like that. Because of the cost of these little cards, they're about $400 for this little card. And each one holds 45 minutes of 4K footage, but because of the cost of it, it's not really something that we can just save and keep a hard copy of. So we're continuously backing up footage onto little SD cards, and then we have a LTO tape storage that we're actually backing things up onto. So it gets backed up really 3 to 4 times in different manners, whether it's through our server or whether it's SD cards, or if it's actually the linear LTO tape. It gets backed up in a lot of different ways.
So you're proficient in operating the television camera, in ingesting the footage, backing up the footage, editing, animating, sweetening sound, colorizing, all of these different aspects. And then you also move that material into OTT and streaming through Trade Desk. And so this like the entire process.
So the kind of the progression I really learned from the beginning, lighting and sound, and then camera work and stuff like that. And then I got into editing in Final Cut. I think it was Final Cut 6 that I really kind of first started in. Played around with that for a couple of years back when we had the Rio Vision contract with the city of Rio Rancho, and did those classes and the actual TV station. I would create promos for that in Final Cut with different graphics, and so that's kind of where I learned the basics of editing and how things worked. This was probably 12, 13, no, longer than that. How many years ago was that? I don't know what year are we in right now?
I started a contract with the city of Rio Rancho teaching the classes for public access back in 2001, 2002. So I mean, it was kind of in that neighborhood, but I think you probably started in 2004, 2005-ish.
Yeah, I think in editing to 2005, 2006 in Final Cut. So I kind of got my hands wet with Final Cut. Didn't really learn too much about After Effects until right around 2010, 11, when I became the full-time editor for Edit House Productions after we lost one. We didn't lose him, but he just... so that's when I kind of really became more involved in editing, becoming the full-time editor, doing broadcast commercials and documentaries and things like that. So it forced me to be at a higher level than just creating little promos and things like that for RioVision. That's when I really started to look into After Effects. At that time, it wasn't cloud-based, so it was all downloaded on disk and things like that. And I think it was CS6 that I learned After Effects, and kind of just started teaching myself the basics and how things kind of move around in 3D space. And then over the years, I've just become more and more comfortable in it and doing more complex things like rotoscoping and 3D motion tracking in Mocha and things like that to really bring another level of excellence to the productions that we do.
So you're involved in production and post-production, and then on the software side, Google AdWords and the Trade Desk and kind of all of those components. And what do you like if you could write your own script here and not be involved in everything? What would you want to be involved in? Like, what do you like the best?
Yeah. after kind of teaching myself After Effects, I just kind of went further into different programs in Adobe, so Audition and Photoshop and Illustrator. So I have that experience in those and that knowledge, and knowing all of these programs. There's good things that I like about them, and then there's kind of the downside of things. I enjoy working in After Effects primarily. I like what we do in Premiere, but Premiere it's almost limiting what you're able to do because it's working in more of a 2D space. You can't do as much as with like graphics and motion graphics that you can do in After Effects. So creating something really from nothing in After Effects is really something that I am really interested in. And then also bringing in footage and creating rotoscopes. And for one of our car dealers, we're doing commercials, and I'm rotoscoping the vehicle out of the background. So for people who are not familiar with rotoscoping,
I was going to ask. Yeah.
It's basically masking out a certain element in a video, but it's movement. So a mask would be if things were static and not moving, and rotoscoping is the process of masking out or creating a copy that doesn't have a background in a moving clip. So if you're thinking about a car driving down the road and you're taking a video of that, the rotoscope would be around the car, removing the background. And the reason to do that is because then you can bring in different elements that kind of look like they're coming in from behind the car, or you can do different coloring things to the car, things like that. So that's something that we're doing with one of our auto dealers now for their commercials that we do monthly. Another thing that we're doing is motion tracking through Mocha. So you're able to track a camera position or something that's moving in the frame of the video in Mocha, and then create different points throughout the video that say you want to have a graphic appear to be in the video that moves with the different elements, as opposed to just a piece of text or a graphic element that just sits there. It really incorporates it into the actual movement of the camera, movement of the elements that are in the frame. So that's what
it sounds really complicated.
It's fun. I like it.
But you like it a lot.
Yeah, that's what I enjoy about After Effects. Over the years, kind of moving through the company, I started as just a production assistant setting up lighting. And so for me to be able to accomplish editing and then After Effects and then Photoshop and Illustrator and moving into different positions from production assistant to editor to kind of this art direction style, and then over the last couple of years, been kind of teaching myself Google Ads. That's been interesting because it's a totally different animal than everything prior had been creative, right? We're creating something with Final Cut or Premiere Pro or After Effects, or we're doing something with cameras or lighting. And in Google Ads, it's data.
You're using a completely different side of your brain.
It's data and it's numbers and it's reviewing kind of the performance and seeing what can be adjusted to make things better. So it's like you said, it's a completely different side of your brain, and I enjoy that also.
It's just a different type of enjoyment.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's like the satisfaction of being able to see numbers move in a positive direction for our clients to be able to be able to say and prove on paper this is the improvement that we're seeing in your campaign. This is we're this much more efficient. Your cost per conversion has gone down. Excuse me, but it's completely different because when you're working in the commercial side or the documentary side of things, it's all very ethereal, I guess, and it kind of comes from your head. And
you can be creative and you can come up with new ideas, and with Google Ads, you're trusted with thousands of dollars sometimes of other people's money to make sure that they are getting clicks and conversions to their website for their product of what they're selling. So it's equally important. It's just a really different side of the company.
Right. And it is completely. And I'm remembering back to, when we used to make television commercials, and the proof was really in, did somebody come into your store?
Yeah.
And so it was all very, it was kind of just up to the shop owner, if you will.
Yeah.
Like,
If
well,
you're seeing
we ran the
traffic.
commercial and people were talking about it, and that was your measurement of success.
Yep.
Right. But
It's
now
completely changed.
Now it completely changed, because now we can measure people who come into a store after they've seen our ad, as well. So it's just, it's crazy.
Well, and the targeting is just incredible. What I was working in earlier this morning was building a specific audience for one of our clients who is selling baby chicks. It's February, we're getting into early spring, and they're
Right.
selling baby chicks. And so identifying a specific type of person who would be interested in buying baby chicks, we're creating that audience of people who have that interest or intent in that kind of a purchase, and then we're putting a display ad
Right.
or a video in front of them for consideration, and then hopefully a conversion.
Yeah. But not to get too far off track, but we were talking about another one of our clients. It's the Gathering of Nations is one of our clients, and we're geofencing events that are happening around the world. So
Yeah.
the geofencing is where you can include just a very tight circumference around a venue, like say 500 meters around the Berlin, Germany Gems show. It's just crazy.
The targeting capabilities that we have now, not in just audience building, say people who might be interested in owning a baby chicken, that's a thing that you can target. But then you can also target just a super granular area of geography
Right.
in this geofence. It's not just based on zip code anymore or city. Now you can target, Allegiant Stadium in Las Vegas for the Super Bowl,
Right.
and put ads around that for people who are interested in baby chicks, I guess.
Right.
Or
I wonder if you could target Karen Fitzpatrick, from former owner of Harris Jewelers, because she has chickens.
yeah,
Maybe,
just
maybe
send her,
they're
just
maybe
text
she and
her
Mark
some
are
baby
watching.
pictures of
So,
chicks.
thinking back on all of the years that you have been with Edit House, and what would and you asked me this question too, so it's back at you. What's your proudest moment, do you think?
There's been a lot. I'm proud to have been able to accomplish what I've been able to. In the aspect of learning, there's been a lot of kind of curveballs that I've kind of thrown myself into in production, right? Taking on editing and learning different platforms and styles of editing, right? I mean, there's different styles of editing. There's news, and there's documentary, there's commercial. So learning the difference in that and how it's effective in different ways has been really interesting. So I'm proud of what I've learned and what I'm able to contribute to the company. I'd say project-wise, what I'm most proud of is probably our work for New Mexico State Police. We did a lot of commercials for them, and we were able to spend a lot of time with a lot of the officers and do different things with their specialty teams for their helicopter, with their SWAT team, with their patrol officers, and their bomb guys, which was just awesome to be able to be out in this
Yeah, it's kind of fun to blow stuff up. Isn't
remote location with GoPros and cameras, and all of a sudden there's this giant explosion.
It's a lot of fun, and you understand. I think you understand who they are, who a police officer is, how their mind works. But I think that throughout all of our of our clients, and as part of that learning, right? That you kind of learn who those people are, internally and why they do what they do. So.
Yeah, so that's been fun to get to work with those kind of guys. Other projects, I always enjoyed the Malloy Dodge commercials where we'd have like animals or like livestock.
Right, and then back to the chickens, yeah.
There was always Margot the chicken,
Yeah.
Which interestingly enough was my in-laws' chicken. Margot is technically no longer with us.
We don't let people know that, though.
No. But Margot was retired from the Malloy Dodge commercials after a couple of years. But we did have pigs and goats.
We had a tortoise.
Yeah, I think one time we even had like a llama or an alpaca.
We had a horse.
Yeah,
Max Wade brought a horse to us.
Right.
Yeah,
Max Wade with galloping.
We turned a horse
pumpkin
into a
patch.
Dodge Charger, I think.
That's right.
Or
yeah.
a truck. I don't remember.
Yeah, we had Max Wade on a horse, and in After Effects we did the little lightning out of Nick's fingers, and
yeah, that wasn't real lightning.
No. But it's been fun to be able to do different projects, and incorporate what I've learned, but also kind of push myself and say, okay, here's a challenge. How do I get lightning to come out of Nick Malloy's fingers and turn in this horse into a Dodge Charger? So that was interesting, right?
Yeah.
I've always just tried to push myself in learning and understanding things in a new way so that I'm able to do things like these rotoscope things, and I'm able to do the motion tracking. Another project that I was really proud of to be able to work on and work with was Apollo 17 astronaut Harrison Schmidt.
Yeah.
That was
for sure.
incredible. That was the 50th year anniversary, and we produced documentaries and short videos that he used around the world when he presented at different conferences. So to be able to be a part of something like that was just really historic.
Well, you had the opportunity to go to Houston and actually be in mission, the mission control where all of the Apollo missions were launched from.
That was incredible because generally public, you have to be behind glass and you're just able to kind of observe. But what they've done in mission control is incredible because they've really replicated even down to pencils being in a certain position or papers or chairs so that everything looks as it did as if they were to just walk out of the room.
Right. Right. The story that they were telling, though, is that after Apollo concluded, they told the engineers and flight crew, and they told them to just take everything. And so they had to contact them and ask them to bring that material back so that they could stage the museum. I think that was pretty cool. You're watching Lights, Camera, Clicks. I'm Ed Smith. This is Matt Smith, the COO. Matt, we were the first with HD in New Mexico, one of the first 5 Google ambassador agencies so we have some firsts. What do you think's happening? What's going to happen next? What do you think is the next big thing that's going to happen in television or online? That you can see. Can you sort of visualize what that might be?
That's an interesting question. I think there's a lot of different things that are possible. A lot of things I think are coming with AI. I was a part of an Adobe conference a couple of months ago. They're unveiling the different capabilities right now of AI, of generating different things in Photoshop and Illustrator and things like that. I think what's next in the coming years is that ability to bring AI generative images or even video into Premiere Pro and into After Effects. So if you're looking for a stock video of a mountain landscape, well, who's to say a year from now you're not able to type into an AI command, bring bring this video clip and make it a sunset now.
Right.
instead
Put a little
of
bit of
midday.
snow on the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
You know, last year we went to the National Association of Broadcasters conference, and we talked about a new television standard called ANSI 3.0.
Next gen, that's right.
And next gen. So, and we're scheduled to go again this year. I mean, I wonder where we are with that. If you could talk a little bit about what that means for broadcasting.
So the next gen idea is, I think, really smart, but at the same time, it's already happening. Mm-hmm. So next gen, for those who don't know, is the ability to for broadcast signals. So say you're watching KRQE or you're watching KOB. Next gen is the ability to bring in more finely targeted ads to those individuals who are watching those stations, but it also gives the user the ability to, say, click on the remote if they're interested in an ad for dog food or something like that. That's already happening in things like Amazon Prime and Hulu. Ads are already running. So I think NextGen is an important tool for users to be able to say, yes, I'm interested in this, or no, I'm not interested in this. But at the same time, it's already happening.
Yeah.
So another thing that NextGen is going to be able to do is bring in more finely targetable users for companies like us to say, access, people who are interested in baby chicks for say, because NextGen connects your TV to the internet, that broadcast signal, we know what you're watching. We know all of the information that we already knew about you. From your Netflix subscription or your Hulu subscription or your credit card purchases, things like that. We're not able to target you and know you individually, but we have a large group of individuals who went down and bought baby chicks.
Right,
so,
right.
It's
just it's really something where things are going. Those platforms. What do you think's the biggest? What's the biggest challenge? Do you think for digital companies these days? What is it? Is it the platforms? Is it what do you think it is?
There's a couple of different challenges. I think specifically with Google continuously is trying to change and improve their platform, but at the same time, it's, I think, making things more complicated. They're trying to almost dumb down the platform for people to understand it, but at the same time, they're taking away features that are really important. If they were just leave it alone,
right,
then it would probably it would work a lot better. But there's other challenges, finding and researching creatives or different ads that will work for targetable audiences. Somebody who's interested in buying baby chicks is a completely different consumer than somebody who's looking to buy a Dodge Charger, right? So creating those ads differently in a compelling way that can engage those potential customers is a challenge, I think. How do those people think? What colors do they would they potentially act on?
Right.
Should we create an ad in purple and target a certain percentage or population of people based on that, or should we do a different split test and see if green works better?
Yeah, interesting stuff. You're watching Lights, Camera, Clicks with Ed and Matt from Ad House Productions and Ad House Advertising. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them in. And I don't have Facebook up right now, but so maybe James could relay the questions to us. So. What projects we have coming up, Matt?
We have a lot of projects coming up. We're working on something right now, a large project for the school district.
Sure.
That'll be really interesting.
We have 2 or 3 that we're working on now. So destination graduation, an interesting project.
Yeah, that was something that the school district fantastic idea, really following graduates of the local high schools to see
the seniors, right?
Yeah, seniors, to see what it's like to be a senior. And in this day and age, what's changed in high school? Because it's been a long time since I graduated. I'm sure
It has
things are
been a long
different.
time, yeah.
You know, I think also technology has a huge impact on generations and different people from high school. You know, things aren't like they used to be.
Well, and I think these kids have dealt with COVID and trying to work through the educational system. You know, it must have been really difficult for them.
Yeah. So we produced the first episode of the destination graduation. We had a lot of students and parents come into our studios here, and we did interviews with them. And then they are documenting their life with their phones and stuff for the other episodes. So it's really interesting. It's a fun project, and it's cool to see where these kids are going and where they've come from.
And then the 30th anniversary of Rio Rancho Public Schools is coming up as well.
That's another one where we're going to start working on here pretty soon. That'll be interesting because we're going to be able to get back into some of the schools where I went. You know, I went to Rio Rancho Mid-High before it was Rio Rancho
Do you
Middle
think
School.
they'll let you back in?
Probably not. No, no. I went to Rio Rancho High School. I went to Independence High School. So to be able to be back in some of these schools in this capacity is going to be really cool to see kind of how things have changed and different.
Yeah.
Other projects we're going to be working here in the next couple of weeks for a national injury attorney who's based here in New Mexico. We're going to be creating some commercials for him.
Right.
That'll be really interesting.
A lot of cool things going on. We're also hosting Legislative Day here at Edit House.
That's right.
Coming up on I believe, the 20th of March. Yeah. So we'll have all of our legislators here in the building. And
speaking of those kind of projects, I am a member of Leadership Sandoval.
Oh,
and, that's been going since August. It's going well. And it's interesting because each year, Leadership Sandoval, if you're not familiar with it, it's a group of industry professionals from all over Sandoval County come together and learn more about the county and how things work in government and business and things. But we have a project that we have started on each year. The groups in Leadership Sandoval have a project that they have to work on.
Like a community-oriented project.
Yeah. So we selected early learning preschool, where my 3 kids have gone. So we're working and looking for donations if anyone interested in donating.
Yeah, contact Matt if you have any free
Yeah.
resources, money, time. Contact Matt to help out.
It's
with
a great project because what we're doing is we're gathering donations from our community, and these donations are going to go towards new flooring and new paint and new furniture for this amazing little preschool. I actually interviewed the founding member. Her name is Beverly Cross. She founded ELP in around 1980, 1981. So it is the first and the oldest preschool in Rio Rancho, and it's been in the same location ever since.
Wow. Well, but you mentioned my granddaughters.
Yes.
Going through. I was kind of. I wonder, Matt, if you thought about this. Is this industry something that you would want them to be involved in, or would you want them to be doctors and lawyers and engineers?
Right now, they're young still, and so they're interested in being, a firefighter, or a police officer, or a doctor. Our oldest does have an interest in acting, and so
I've seen some drama.
Yeah.
But
the last couple of days, we've been researching different casting agencies.
That's cool
for her to be able to kind of get a foot in the door.
Yeah.
So, if anybody has any tips for her.
Well, you're about that age when you're going out on shoots with me, so
yeah,
it's never too they're never too young to start them in business. So.
Yeah, she's interested, and so it'll be fun to see where that interest kind of in turn goes, because you know, is she going to be an actress? I don't know.
So this will be the 4th generation of people involved in the industry. My dad worked at MGM, and we're here, and you're taking over. And in fact, Matt, you're also an owner and gaining more ownership shares every year. Where do you kind of see you taking the company when mom and dad are, when we're gone out on some boat somewhere.
Yeah. Well, you guys are going out on a boat pretty
We're
soon.
going on a boat pretty soon. Yeah.
Yeah, a couple days. I want to be able to continue the level of excellence that has started. We're coming up on 25 years
Yeah.
that this company has been around since you started it, and there's been thousands of projects that we've worked
There
on.
have been, yeah.
But there's always been a certain level of excellence that we've tried to bring and have brought to every single one of them.
Sure.
I want to be able to continue that. I want to continue building relationships with community members and really helping people, because we create videos and do all of the advertising things, but the purpose is really in helping other companies grow.
Right, and it is being purpose driven. I remember when I started my career in television, there was a person that I worked with at KAYS TV in Hays, Kansas, that said, you just pick one more thing that you can do for somebody.
Yeah.
And I think that I think his point was, don't just be good, be excellent at what you're doing. And I think that's what we try to do here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I want to be able to continue that. Other things, there's an empty lot next door to us.
There is an empty lot.
It would be great to be able to purchase that and expand our studios, build a giant building, with 20-foot high ceilings. And, there's a lot of land next door that has potential to be another studio.
Sure.
I just want to keep moving forward and be able to work on different projects. It's been since 2012 was when I first brought in an award, I guess.
Right. I remember.
It was it was for the New Mexico State Police commercial. I want to say it was called B. It was
called B, yeah.
It was about becoming an officer and what it takes to be an officer. And so I want to be able to continue to make projects like that are national and international kind of level, that bring in those kind of achievements. That was something that I was really proud to be able to work on.
Yeah, for sure. When you can take a project like the Mexico State Police and that the value of that is bringing safety and security to a community, to the state that you live in, where you're raising your kids, where your wife and your family and your mom and your dad and everybody lives, that you have. Now you're bringing safety to these people. So I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting just how many different avenues there are in video and what it can achieve, whether it's documentary or commercial or even news. There's always a story to be able to be told. And so finding that and achieving it and really aiming for greatness in whatever we do, that's kind of been my motto.
All right. Do you have anything further to add there, Mr. Smith?
Not that I can think of. You have anything you want to?
It's a pleasure to come to work. I think that this is a great place to be. It's every day is different. We're working on different projects, like you said. There's cameras and commercials that we're doing, and on things that are online, and there's so many different aspects of what it is that we do. I think.
And it's great to be able to work with our staff that we've brought in and found. Everybody's really become like family, and that's been nice to be able to have that atmosphere here where everyone's comfortable and can come to work and really achieve greatness.
I agree.
So.
Well, you've been watching Lights, Camera, Clicks. I'm your guest host, Ed Smith, and this is your host, Matt Smith. We hope that you enjoyed the... Oh, you have some questions? Oh, there are a couple questions, so we won't sign off quite yet.
Let me check my phone real quick, and we'll see what we got. James, you want to chat those to me,
or James, you can just...
It's one of the questions is the earliest childhood memory on set. for Matt.
Matt, your earliest childhood
memory.
memory on
You
the
know,
set.
Thinking about it, I do remember what you were talking about earlier being my first really time going out on set. And that was for New Mexico Bank and Trust.
Right.
I remember because it was downtown Albuquerque.
It was, right.
And, we're loading up all kinds of equipment up in this big building in Albuquerque. So I remember that.
Yeah.
Because that was hard work. We're in downtown Albuquerque taking out all kinds
and you're
of...
9.
I'm 9 years old, taking out big, heavy cases out of the back of our vehicle and taking them upstairs. And so I remember that.
I didn't violate any child labor laws.
No,
Because you can do whatever you want with family. It doesn't... Yeah. It's fine.
But, yeah, that was probably my first... memory.
Your first memory was Greg Leindecker was the president of the bank, and I think that I mean we've been with that bank, New Mexico Bank and Trust, really since then. But it was it was a young bank at the time. Yeah, back then. So
that was my first memory. I think my biggest memory though was being out at an undisclosed location in New Mexico with the state police with their explosions that they did testing on, and we went out to this house that didn't have any roof or anything on it, and it had a catwalk on top, and that's where they did their training exercises for entering houses. And so to be able to be there, film it, be around those guys was really cool. We did a couple projects a couple years ago for AmeriCorps. And we were able to be out in the forest and kind of filming. They were, I think, doing like
they were
pathways.
They were, I think they were closing down some pathways and then creating other pathways, walkways for people to use. But one of the things that AmeriCorps was doing in creating those pathways was they were providing pathways for firefighters as well. So
yeah, that was really a cool project. Actually, one thing that I'm thinking about it now that I'm kind of looking forward to, you asked earlier about what I was kind of looking forward to in the next couple of years, is they have these camera cars now. And when you think of camera car, you think of, camera mounted on car. But it's really a trailer that has dozens and dozens of cameras, and you're able to take a 3D video with all of these different angles and put it together and have this 3D almost sculpture of a product or a person. And so that, I think, is something that I'm really looking forward to, being able to
there's and I don't remember the name, but there is a company in town, because we work with them to help them find space for their tractor trailer. Yeah, if you remember those folks. Don't remember the name.
Yeah, but that I think is a really cool advancement in technology. Is having 50 different cameras all around you, up and below you, to be able to create this 3-dimensional video.
Yeah,
that's really incredible.
James, are there any more questions over there?
One more question.
One more question.
Was there any other highlights that you can speak about in your career, Matt?
Were there any other highlights that I can speak of? Highlights that I've kind of had, I have won 13 national and international awards for video production, ranging from editing to lighting to general production. Some of them we mentioned were for New Mexico State Police. There were some for Haven House. We did a documentary for them. That one for lighting. We did one for...
we have some religious programming as well, I think, too, that you've won awards for.
And then there was another one for Southwest Training Consultants. Their video one. Other achievements, I've done and taken the Google assessments for becoming a partner for Google Ads, video, things like that. Some pretty rigorous testing involved in that. So that's another achievement.
Yeah, but done some great things here, Matt, and we've got a great future ahead of us here as a company, and you as an individual, and us as a team. So you've been watching Lights, Camera, Clicks. right here on the Edit House Productions YouTube page and Facebook page. And we're glad that you joined us. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah,
Is it next week?
We're
Okay.
gonna continue to make these. We were gonna do this episode last week, but I was sick with the horrible flu, so we're gonna continue to make these. Hopefully, get them to about once a week, and just continue to do different topics. You know,
What's the topic next week?
I have no idea. That's a great
Okay,
question.
all right.
So,
well, I think you should interview James.
James, you look like you need to be interviewed.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he looks great over there.
He does.
But yeah, we're just going to continue to find different topics. If people watching have ideas or questions that we can turn into a topic on a video, definitely post them, comment. We'd love to
sure.
hear them. We'll continue to make these and
Sounds great.
see what
All right.
happens.
Well, thanks for joining us. We appreciate it.